Takes me 10 minutes to find every button. As we're live. Where is this one?
Okay, we're doing it live.
Don't even worry about it. We're going now. Seriously, where's this button? Mode. Go.
Check.
Check. We're on. That's perfect. We push that one on video.
Yes.
Perfect. And then this one.
Never had somebody just take a picture.
We have one person on already. Crazy. Dude, this is the beginning. See how like anticlimactic this first part is?
Yeah, it's just kind of the slow.
It's just me like
it's a slow open.
walking around. It's like do it yourself, but it's a do it your dean. I don't like that. We'll edit that out later, but we can't because it's live right now. So it doesn't work that way. I made this sign. It has your name on it.
Wow.
Music Theory Philosophy.
Never seen my name so big.
It's because you're the guy. It's going to be backwards for everybody but this one right here, which is now covered up. You can't really see it. I'm going to give it nice slow motion. Thanks for joining us today, dude. Us. I've been saying us and we a lot lately.
Yeah.
It's kind of...
I just like to think of everybody collectively.
Yeah, I think of everybody at the same time, which is probably not the best way to be, but I can't help it.
We're all brothers and sisters.
Well, there we go, right there. I love that answer. I think that's... Let's keep that vibe the entire time throughout this. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it in that way, you know, incest is really unavoidable.
It is.
You know?
That's right. We all come from the same spot.
Yeah.
Incest is best, is what, that's the family motto from Virginia or West Virginia. I keep forgetting which one we're from. Doesn't really matter, I guess. I gotta move this too.
Ah.
Look at that. Now everybody on Instagram can hear us as well. There we go. Max Mulmed. Let's go through this real quick. I have everything printed off because the first part I always forget.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's introduce ourselves. Is there anything? How would you introduce yourself if I was coming up to you on the street right now?
I would just say my name is Max.
That's good enough for me. Yes. What bands do you play in?
I play in your band.
Yes.
I play in Hotel Pink. I play in Juniper Ridge, Garrett's band. I play with Jorgen's band, Summer Knit.
Yes.
Play in my band, Doughboy.
Yes.
Used to play in a band called Faded Lady, an old band called Good Old Joel. Playing in the Rock Hard Johnsons.
Dude, I love that name for a band. They're all great bands, but that one's great.
Gotten a lot of compliments on that name.
What type of music did you guys play with Dwayne and the Hard Johnsons?
We had our own made-up genre called Kids Bop Trash Punk.
Kids Bop Trash Punk.
Yeah.
I love that. Have you heard the Kids Bop version of WAP?
No.
I don't know if it exists or not. I'm going to say it does, just for argument's sake.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm sure they would really have to get creative with that one.
Yes. There's another one that's escaping me right now that Echo likes to quote all the time. I want to say it's some Notorious B.I.G., but it could be something else.
Is it Juicy?
It might be Juicy, and it's all these little kids sing. Oh, it's Miss Jackson by Outkast. So not even close to what I was saying before, but... And there's this white kid being like, "Me and your daughter."
I want to hear Kids Bop cover "Suicidal Thoughts."
Dude, let's go. I would love to hear that as well. Yes. A lot of bands. Do you enjoy playing in so many different bands? Does it ever feel overwhelming?
Oh,
I feel like that's kind of a dumb question.
Every day. Yeah.
Yes.
My entire life is just being overwhelmed, but it was like that before. I was in a bunch of bands, so yeah, I go into it with that energy. I'm used to it, you know. So
yes.
It works out for me.
How do you balance it out with the scheduling?
I don't. I double book all the time, and you know, it's always a mess, but somehow things end up working out, and I'm still going at it.
He's still strong. Echo says it was the Kids Bop version of Miss Jackson. She's on the Echo, longtime friend of the pod. Dude, that's something that I have fear of every day. I'm like, I'm going to forget something's going on. I'm not going to show up where I'm supposed to show up. And it has happened a couple of times. And at the end of the day, nobody dies, and I have to remind myself it's like not that big of a deal.
I
you know?
obsessively check my calendar.
Really?
Yeah, I just have to make sure when I wake up every morning.
This is what's going on today.
Yeah.
Do you, is it just like a Google Calendar, or what do you use?
I just use my Apple Calendar.
That's the way to go.
Yeah, it works out.
I have to use Notes. I will not remember to update the Apple Calendar, but if it's
Well, it's nice
Notes,
when
I'll
you
do it.
use Notes, and I can go to your note. All the dates are highlighted, so I just click on a new date, and I'll upload.
And it'll go immediately?
Yeah.
I knew that, and that's why I've been doing that for so many years. That's why I plan things out super
Always
hard.
ahead of the game.
Always ahead of the game.
Always ahead of the
I'm
game.
so behind on everything.
Crazy. So much I can learn from you.
Oh, no. I feel the same way about you. Maybe we can just learn from each other. We should think about starting a band together, maybe.
Yeah.
Let's go through, what's your sign for everybody out there?
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius.
Yeah.
I think Echo's a Sagittarius. So, long time friend of the pod. She's the only one I'm talking about on this pod the entire time. That's a lot of her. Sagittarius. Tell me about Sagittarius. What does that mean? Couldn't
I
tell.
really, honestly, could not tell you.
That's
I'm
fair.
not, well versed in the signs. I'm not. I all my information is from what I've been told.
Yes. I feel like every time I ask about it, this might be a hot take. Every time I ask about it, I always feel like it's just like the most vapid bullcrap. It's like, oh, that means this. And I was like, well, that means everybody does that. It's like, that means you get hungry from time to time. Yeah, I mean, everybody gets hungry, but I could be wrong.
Natural human trait,
Yes, I'm going to start. I
Not
kind of want
getting
to
hungry would
subscribe
be
to it.
a medical condition.
That would be it.
We're not even talking about astrology at that point.
At that point, we're going into some hard medical
Yeah,
stuff that we got to talk about.
Some depressing stuff.
And stuff that I don't even know that much about, so we should just like go on to the next thing. Speaking of hot takes, give me one hot take. This is a new thing we're going to do on this. Give me one hot take. I'm not going to say anything. No follow-up questions. Just give me a hot take. Just one.
All right. There's nothing wrong with the Saint Anger snare. Saint Anger, the album. Underrated in their discography. I've always enjoyed that album. I've never understood the hate.
There we go. No follow-up questions. No follow-up. Okay. We're going to consider that the hot take for the day. That's the old music theory philosophy hot take. We're going to go on into the interview. Let's say Max. I keep saying let's. Once again, I think I might be schizophrenic. I'm not sure. I've never seen me and my other personality in the same place at the same time. So, maybe.
That's worrying.
It's very worrying.
I'm
Very
worried for
telling.
you.
Max, I'm not just saying this. You're one of the finest musicians I've ever seen and or heard. How did you get to this level of understanding of your instrument and other instruments, of just music in general?
I mean, if I'm telling the absolute truth, I don't remember anymore.
Yes.
But I mean, I just really liked it, and I did it a lot. And I don't really have any formal training other than some summer camps that I did.
Yeah.
With Tyler.
There we go.
And,
Long-time friend of the pod.
And yeah, I just ended up here. Sometimes I feel like, and it just, I don't know.
Yeah. You just pop up and have that thing of consciousness for a second. Like, oh crap, I can do this. This is crazy.
Yeah.
I totally get that. I don't love asking the question like, how did you do it as a kid? I used to ask that all the time. And like kind of everything up to it, because it's always almost the exact same story. It is interesting to me because most people say the same thing. It's just like, well, this just makes sense. It almost feels like a part of life at this. It just makes sense.
I definitely think some people are, kind of born with that affinity for it, and just kind of through, like, not necessarily a sifter, but like a funnel effect,
Yes.
You just kind of find it, and, it's just lights. It's almost like a natural selection process of, like, you just kind of end up finding it at some point,
Mm-hmm.
And people who do have that affinity, it's the same kind of snap I think I just clipped your system there with that snap. But
That's okay. I can edit it out. I know the editor. It's me, by the way. Oh, somebody says cat reveal. There's a cat around here
can I
somewhere.
really hear the cats? Oh,
That's
so
all good. No, we want the cats. They're everywhere. You can't see them off screen. There's one. There's one here. There's one here. There's one here. There's definitely one right on the other side of Max.
They're cosmic entities. They're in the air. It's like in Interstellar.
Yes.
Yeah. They're in the bookshelf.
They're in the bookshelf behind it, like making everything. This has happened many times over and over.
Yeah.
How many cats do you have?
3.
3 cats. Give us the cat names.
We have Jet, we have Dot, and we have Menace.
Menace. Does Menace live up to their name?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Menace is 100% a menace. He just peed all over my clothes this morning.
No.
Yeah. On my work clothes.
Really?
I had to get ready for work. Yeah.
One time, this is a true story. I'm not exaggerating any part of it. I was getting ready for work, and I had a dog, and this dog had diarrhea, and it diarrheaed into my hair. I was laying on the ground, and it just came and pooped on my hair.
Oh, that's foul.
It was pretty bad. I remember I got pretty mad. I spanked the crap out, which is abuse. And I feel bad about saying that on the thing. I feel really bad about that. My partner at the time would not, the dog was fine. I just want to point that out.
Yeah.
But I was so angry. I've never had somebody take a poop in my head before. But that happened. And sometimes you just got to remember to be cool. Anyways, I'm sure you handled it a lot better than I did.
I was also angry.
There you go.
And I just,
That's Menace for you.
A menace.
Menace just goes. Menace looked at the.
Yeah, he shrugs and he's like,
"What do you want me to do?
What's the matter?
What's the matter, huh?
What's the matter?
My name's a Menace. That's what happens, huh?" I'm getting into scary territory with these voices that I'm saying. The accents that I'm giving right there. That's right. See what I mean? We never follow the script at all. It hasn't followed it at all. Let's move on. Let's see. When you play... Okay, so if you've listened... I'm going to talk about... We have a bunch of different projects we can talk about. But I want to specifically talk about Doughboy. I really like your project, Doughboy. You can find Doughboy on Bandcamp. And you have 2 albums out.
Yeah.
I do want to ask, for the second one, it was Hot Dome, right? Is that the same?
A hot heat dome.
Heat Dome. See, my research never fails me. Is that's still under the project Doughboy? Or is that a different project?
It's like a side thing.
Okay.
Because it's with my buddy John.
Okay.
And whenever he comes over, I'm not really with him in any projects, but he's just one of the most insanely talented people I know, and they're so musical, and to do a improvised thing with him like that is just like, butter. It's just so easy. And so, he came over one day, and I just wanted to record something with him, so we did all of that in a day.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That actually was a question I was going to ask later on, but I feel like this flows into it. It's like, when performing like a piece that is going to be improvised and then recorded, I feel like there's a lot of pressure right in the moment. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that you do to prepare for that? Was it all just like spontaneous that day? You were like, let's just record.
The pressure is a part of it. That's I like the angularity of that. Being nervous and having sudden unintentional muscle movements and having that being reflected in the sound.
Yeah, totally.
I really like that.
Yeah.
Every recording to me is like a snapshot of that day, no matter how long you've had the song around. So whether it's improvised or not, ultimately to me is meaningless when it comes to the recorded product.
Yeah.
So with the Heat Dome stuff, even the name Heat Domes wasn't the name until I started uploading it. Because originally it was 6 million years. Well, no, first it was 15-year asshole migration. And then it was 6 million years of assholes. And then I was like, I don't really feel like that actually reflects the music, I think, are just being funny.
Yeah.
And it was funny.
That is pretty funny.
But I just thought if we were to do another project, which I intend to next time he comes over.
No way.
It's just whenever he comes over, I'll try to get him to record something.
That's great. He used a bass 6, right?
Yeah, I still got it in the room.
That's so crazy. I have very fond memories of that instrument. It's just
super cool instrument.
So weird. Very deceiving the way it looks. It looks just like, for anybody who doesn't know, it just looks like it almost looks like just a regular old guitar, but it's not. It's a bass guitar.
Yeah, it's like if you put it in Photoshop and just enlarged it a bit.
Like that. Yep, totally. That's it. Something that you were saying just a second ago reminded me of this quote that I've heard recently. It's from Don Dixon, who did like the early REM records. And he has this thing on recording music, and he says, which is funny as a producer, although he considers himself more a musician, that he thinks that recorded music is actually like bad for music, because it's not like so much of it, especially as a storyteller, is the word of mouth that passes through it. And the way that we've decided to record music and hold on to this pop music, which is not supposed to last very long. It's supposed to just be, this is the thing that was played at the camp, and then it goes on to the next song that somebody else will create.
That's like the very American capitalist view of music.
Yeah.
Where it's disposable, you got the song of the summer.
Yeah.
And the next summer you got the next song of the summer, yada yada. But you have folk songs that have lasted through the ages.
Interesting.
It's just there are different areas where music can sit.
Totally. It's interesting. I just hadn't heard or thought of it that way, especially as somebody that I like recording a lot. And I enjoy seeing this piece, but I guess to finish what he was thinking, it's just like you were saying, it's like a snapshot of something. It doesn't equal what the song is in total, because the song still evolves after the song has been recorded.
I like to think of it as like a long tube. When you take a recording, you get a vertical slice. You just get a circle.
Yes.
But in reality, the song is this large 3D object that morphs and changes, on its own. But, our limitation in sharing is you can only, you either play a show and you have somebody come to multiple shows, like Grateful Dead or whatever. People have all those bootleg recordings of all those shows, and you hear the songs change, and that's kind of more of an honest capture of how a song can exist, but for most people and most bands, you just get the 2D object.
Yeah, I think that's why bands like Grateful Dead last so long. You have these people that are interested in seeing how that develops, and every show is just a little bit different.
It's expansive.
Totally. Do you feel let's move towards a band like 10 Tongues. Do you guys feel do you have an outline that you always follow, or is there room for improvisation with your group?
Yeah, there's little bits and pieces. It's fairly structured, but we find our ways. It's very it's interesting to describe the way improv kind of comes into play. There's a lot of long-term improv where the songs will morph over time, because somebody will do something once and will slowly, over playing that song multiple times, catch on to that thing that one person did. And be like, we should all do that.
We should do that next time.
Yeah. There's one song where the verse sections, we get really quiet towards the end of it and come back in big on the chorus.
Yeah.
And that just happened over time.
That's so cool.
That was an original part of it.
I bet. You might actually be able to name who did it, but it's funny to see. I guess it's the three of you working at the same time to make that thing happen. It's like, Isaac's going a little bit soft or quieter here, so we got to come down. Or Tyler's bringing us this way or that way, or you will be pulling them back. That's the cool thing about playing live all the time, is you get that relationship with that person, and bigger ear.
You're going for that telepathy thing, to where everybody morphs into one.
Yes.
They all think with one brain.
Yep.
And then it's when you get the kind of, to me, the ultimate incarnation of that band.
Yes.
It's like when you can personify it, into like a singular entity.
Totally.
And remove yourself
from it. Yeah. This is, you are one piece that moves around. And that comes back full circle to what we were talking about before, is how can you even get one take of that? You can't. It's like the purest form might be all those bootleg versions of the Grateful Dead. Yeah. It's like, this is actually what that song sounds like, which it changes every verse.
And that's kind of helped me with recording over time, because I mean, when I first started recording, you have that in your head where it's like, oh my god, this is it. This is it.
Yeah.
If I mess this up, I'm just gonna look like a fool forever.
Yeah.
But these days,
it's so funny. I know because I know.
Yeah. These days, that's a comforting thought for me. Like, it's a photo.
Yeah.
I look how I look, and in the future, I'm gonna want to look back on how I looked that day, and be like, oh, that's so of that time.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yes.
I think I find myself liking imperfections more most of the time.
Me too. I feel like there's definitely like there's like a quality you don't want to get past. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it needs to be beyond this, but every once in a while, if it's a little early, something timing wise a little early or late, or maybe that chord didn't land exactly the way that you wanted, or is a little more muted, it actually comes through. Especially vocally, I feel like we have a real problem now of like
overcorrecting.
Yes.
Yeah, and sounding robotic, which has its place.
Totally.
Like the whole T-Pain thing when auto-tune was first coming around, and the robotic thing. I dig that. But there's it's now an expectation to have that sound, when in reality it should be a stylistic choice.
Mm-hmm. Which can come in the moment and change, and when you guys were making this specific album, with improvising everything, were there any like guidelines that you set, or was it just
for the Ten Tongues album?
No, sorry, I'm switching back.
For the Doughboy album?
For the Doughboy album, yes. I'm sorry. What a way to segue back into, yes. Full circle back. Yeah, did you have anything when John came over and Isaac's over? Did you have anything
for the Heat Dome?
The Heat Dome, yes. Man, I'm all over the place. Who's giving me these notes? I am.
Hey, we're gonna have to fire this producer.
Yeah. Hey, the guy behind there, you're out. Yeah. Get out of here, bud. The Heat Dome album. Yes, for the Heat Dome album, are there guidelines that you set?
Minimal. Like, I mean, before I would hit record, and we did all 5 songs in a row, just like 5 improvisations. Bass 6 and guitar, me on guitar, John on bass 6. And then beforehand, I did say I kind of wanted to do something, Captain Beefheart-esque, angular, thin guitars. There was a general aesthetic vibe going in. But when it came to the songs, right before I would hit play, I would just be like, I don't even remember exactly, just like some random direction, just some sort of creative seed to work off of, so we're not just totally in the dark. But
yeah.
I think only I think is the 3rd song was the only one that I had actually been playing around with that riff beforehand, but John had never heard it. Really? It wasn't even really a riff, it was just a technique that I actually showed you. It's that one where
this one is crazy. Yeah, explain to everybody this technique that he showed me. This is a mind-blowing...
You're tapping your index and your ring finger.
That's on your left
hand. That's your ring finger.
Yep, that's your ring finger. Yeah.
Your index and your ring finger is tapping them on the 5th and 7th on the harmonics. You're just tapping them against the strings, so, bars of 4.
Yeah.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, and then you're picking in like either like a pattern of 3 or 5 or 7 with your right hand.
My brain
So
hurts.
you're having oscillating polyrhythm between your two hands. So you, get a melody out of that from just the different picking patterns you get.
Yes.
You know.
It's oscillating the entire thing.
Yeah, it's basically switching which string you're picking and which finger is being
It's
held
touching.
on.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's some weird polyrhythm stuff right there.
I'm not
That's-
sure I described it.
No,
very
I think I
accurately,
can.
but
Well, I'm looking at it, so that makes sense. But if
sounds
you're listening on the podcast, yes, you have a different time on your left hand from your point, your index and your ring, and your right hand is picking in a different time signature than that, right?
Mhm.
So that way, every time it rotates around, it's
and
gonna
your
be something
finger
different.
picking it.
And
I mean,
finger
you
picking.
could do it with a pick too. I'm better with my fingers than I am a pick.
Yes,
Yes.
that feels like a good amount of pause for that. Better with your fingers. I wanted to keep. I'm going to keep that in there with that pause. That's awesome, dude. There was a one that specifically stood out to me, or there are 2 songs from that. There is no number. There is no one. There is no one. I think was that the one with that. I think that might be.
So
that
you're
one.
gonna tell me song titles,
And you're not gonna-
I'm not gonna know which song it is.
The other one is, and I could be saying this wrong. It's
Yeah.
that one. So
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually have a similar song title for a 10-tone song that I wrote called Evil.
that's how. That's how you gotta read it.
Yeah.
If you look at it, it's gotta be. It's evil. Is that from SpongeBob?
Mhm.
Yes.
It's the superhero guy. I forget
Yes.
his name.
Mermaid Man
Mermaid Man.
and Barnacle Boy.
Yes, sir.
Man, that's great. I love. Do you have any tips for anybody who wants to start, maybe, or is thinking about recording an improv album?
Don't think too hard about it. Just set it up and do it, and record a bunch of takes, or don't. Don't think too hard about it. Just you kind of know when you got it, and I felt like that album was awesome because again with John, very little can go wrong. So
Really,
when you
he just
have
covers so much.
strong players, it just can happen because those were all one take. It was just
That's
5 takes, one for each song.
It's crazy how great everything sounds. It feels like put together, and
Thank you. It was
you can
all-
definitely hear somebody like someone going softer, and then the rest of the band kind of following it down, or one person kind of leading a little bit.
Yeah.
But it feels intentional with all of that as well.
It's fun to improvise along with your recording too,
Yes.
and you get a little bit of a safety net around your whatever they call the balance beam or whatever.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Last question for this. When you're setting it up for that, was it just a one mic in the room, or how was it set up? Were you direct in, or?
Yeah, the guitars were all direct into my MT8X, which is a Yamaha cassette 8-track recorder. And the drums were 2 mics set up, one overhead, one on the kick. And then there was an auxiliary drum track, which was just the 1 mic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So minimal setup, but it sounds great.
Thank
It
you.
still feels nice and full. Let's talk about. I want to talk about Beefheart and Captain Beefheart specifically, because this is somebody that I was looking at the Heat Dome page, and it was listed on all of the different genres of it, and experimental, art rock, and then Beefheart was one of the genres listed. I was like, I don't know what this is. I gotta go search a little bit more. So, can you tell us a little bit about Captain Beefheart real quick?
Captain Beefheart was a really weird guy, fantastic artist, surrealist artist, from late 60s to he was active, I think, mid 80s, and then he quit and became a painter.
Perfect.
But he was friends with Frank Zappa growing up.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
so
is
him and
making
Zappa,
sense.
him and Zappa have a live album together.
Okay.
Because Beefheart signed a bunch of bad contracts, so he ended up in a position where he couldn't record anymore.
No.
So Zappa kind of,
Picked them
it
up.
was like a pity hire.
That's
He
so
hired him
funny.
into his band, but then they started hating each other after that because
Oh,
they're
really?
such strong creative forces. You know?
Yeah.
And Beefheart was he was always being the surrealist, so I can imagine it's hard to work with a guy like that, but he just makes bizarre, I was going to say outsider music, but I don't feel like he really fits into that
Yeah.
genre, but avant-garde inspired by free jazz and early blues, and his music sounds like that. It sounds like free blues.
Free blues.
Yeah.
Free it. Why is it in jail? We don't know, but we got to free it somewhere. Some way, somehow. Raising money for it. That's really cool. Yeah, the little bit that I listened to, that makes sense with him being with Zappa. It's crazy. It's out there stuff. I love it, though.
That
It's,
Traumask Replica album was recorded by Zappa.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. See, this is why we get on the show, because I learn a bunch of stuff. That's why we get on the show. I want to talk about the first, that Doughboy album. When you are writing music, specifically with this stuff, was that stuff that you had, that self-titled album, had you stored up songs for a while, or was that also kind of just...
No, all those songs were old by the time I got to recording them, because I had the name Doughboy since I was working pizza at a Barrow's Pizza in Scottsdale in high school, and I wanted a solo project for a while, but I just was slow to come up with songs, and by the time the pandemic rolled around and I was just looking to record whatever, I had enough, and my buddy who lived here at the time, we recorded it together and had plenty of time to, and
Yeah.
I was just kind of able to explore those compositions. I feel like compositions is a weird word to use for rock songs, but
I think it makes sense. If you have everything in that album felt like it had like a structure to it for sure.
yeah, and it was fun to expand on those and make them what they were. Are.
Do you feel like when you're writing music, do you lean more towards the song being able to grow? By that I mean like there's like multiple movements in that. Speaking of composition, I guess there's not like a normal like pop structure to it.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a conscious effort to like go away from that, or is it just stuff that you've taken up from other music?
I feel like that depends on just where I just try to let this, whatever I'm playing, the riff or whatever, I just kind of let it lead me where it wants to go, and I just try to be intuitive about it. I don't know, I sometimes I like to say I try not to think too hard about it, but I do think hard about it. So it's kind of I find myself ending up in a lot of contradictions when it comes to writing music, and I kind of like that, because I think it gives me variety.
Yeah.
So it just really depends which way the wind is blowing that day.
Yeah. That makes sense. I like that. It doesn't have to be one specific thing. You can. A lot of it does contradict itself in that, but I don't know why we have to. I guess something with the human mind where we just have to like categorize it as one thing.
Compartmentalize.
Yeah, compartmentalize, but it's not. It doesn't have to be that way, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
I like it that it's that way. Let's go back to some other stuff. I had another question I wanted to ask. Oh, so for this album specifically, was this 100% done by you? Did you have anybody else on it as well?
My buddy Xavier Nelson did some backup vocals, some harmonies on, I forget the song title. One of the songs. Yeah, one of the songs midway through. It's like kind of the more typical pop structure song off that album. But that was really kind of the only creative contribution. I mean, I totally asked my It's got to be how early must I wake to catch the worm. I think.
Yes.
I think.
Great title for a song.
Either that or it's Mr. Dickovich's Opiate Farm.
Dude, I have some questions about this. Is that from? What is that from?
So okay.
Is it from Spider-Man 3?
Technically.
Yes or no?
It was one of those where, you know, I recorded the beginnings of the song, and Dean, my buddy who's recording it at the time, he's asking me what to call the file, and I'm just sitting here thinking, I don't know, I don't have a name for the song, and
Yeah.
Mr. Dickovich's Opiate Farm, for some reason, came to my head, and
That's so
I
random.
did not know that was the character for Spider-Man 3, and I was going to change the name of the song. I think it was Corey, my partner, that convinced me to keep that song.
I love it. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Corey, thank you for convincing him to do that. Yes.
So, yeah, I guess it's a reference to Spider-Man 3.
Somewhere in the back part of your mind, you just yank that out.
Yeah.
That's too
I
funny.
just like to
man.
think Peter Parker's landlord. I think it was his landlord.
It was his landlord.
Yeah, I like to think he has an opiate farm, you know, on the
That
side.
makes sense. I mean, that if you look at anything from a movie and think about what Spider-Man, Peter Parker makes, right? And we look at the size of that room, you're like, there's no way. Somebody's got to be, something's getting crossed. Some lines are getting crossed.
Something's going on there.
Something illegal's happening.
I love lore. You know?
I love the lore behind all that stuff. We need a Vadi to go and cover.
Are you saying Vadi, like Vadi Vidya, like
Yes.
the guy, the Dark Souls?
The Dark Souls guy, but
oh my god!
long time
Oh my
subscriber.
God.
Love
Same
that
here,
guy.
same
That
here.
guy breaks down.
I
so
fall asleep
well.
to his videos.
Me too.
Yeah,
Dang.
so relaxing.
It is so relaxing.
Yeah.
I love it. Anyway, a Vadi on Spider-Man 3. There's probably enough of that already. We don't really need more.
Sure.
of this.
The movie's been out for a while.
It's been out for a while. They probably already got everything else going on with that stuff.
Do we gotta put the spoilers tag?
We got to put spoilers up there. You don't need to know. We're putting that up there right now. Let's see. Okay, it's there's something else I was got.
It's a full page, man. You got plenty of
I got a
questions.
lot of questions here. Let's see. Is there like a thesis to the album, to the self-titled album overall? Some of the titles seem kind of dark. I had a hard time pulling some of the lyrics from it or understand it, which I think was that intentional as well.
Somewhat, yeah. I think it's mostly just because I'm somewhat insecure about my voice.
You have a great voice, man.
Thank you. Especially at that time, I think I've been practicing more and more.
Yeah.
But, you know, singing has never been a huge strong suit of mine. But I've practiced. I've done it. My parents' music room, I used to set up a microphone and plug in my phone, and I'd sing to Smith's songs. over
No
the years.
way, some
Yeah.
Morrissey.
Yeah, Morrissey is a good thing to sing along to. Try to get the vibrato and the pitch and the,
Yeah.
you know, all of
That guy, so much drama and everything that he
So much drama.
does and sings. I heard, was it last night I dreamt somebody loved me the other day, and I was like, I'm going to be alone in my car for a little bit. I need to be alone.
Yeah, it's depressing music.
It is.
You know?
Sorry, back to the question. Is there like an overall, like a concept to the album that you're putting out?
Not really, other than to, you know, again with the photograph, kind of capture myself at the time, which was kind of weird with the songs being old, but I kind of tried to pull a little, I tried to be non-linear with
Yeah.
it, you know, so like it's just a lot of thoughts and inner machinations,
Okay.
you know, and just how I was feeling at the time that I was recording it.
So the story is the narrative to it is just like that snapshot of your life, and
Yeah.
it's funny how if we go back through there, you look at journal entries, you start to see this. Oh, like this is the protagonist. This is what the protagonist feels.
Yeah.
Or maybe that, I guess, once again coming back to finding and compartmentalizing things like, oh, this must be what this is trying to say.
There's just a lot of trying to work up stuff from my subconscious.
Yeah.
You know, that may not have made sense at the time, but now that I look back on it, it makes a lot of sense.
Yes. Too close
Especially
to
like the Mumbler stuff, that I really was... I knew I had to write a lot of lyrics.
that was that
one.
song Mumbler.
Yeah, because it had a
on
lot of space.
Yeah.
And I'm good with just writing, you know, a line here and a line here. But when I try to elaborate off of lines, I have a hard time. So for that one, I pulled up a random word generator.
No way.
And I would pick a word that felt good to me and elaborate a little bit, find another word. So that's why that one is kind of just, you know, almost like a... Who's that painter that throws the paint?
Oh, I was going to say Gallagher. That's
Jackson Pollock.
Jackson Pollock. Yes.
Like a Jackson Pollock painting of lyrics.
That is so cool. Yes.
But, yeah, a lot of it kind of... And there's some really silly stuff on that song. Like there's one lyric that's like something about a pancake. Belligerent pancake or something like that. Yeah. But
that's awesome.
it oddly kind of makes sense to me now.
Yeah.
But
I guess once again we try to put it and you see that that's the beauty of that kind of writing is like you throw all this and then your brain kind of picks up, and that's where it can mean so many different things to different people.
I think I'm successful when I can look at something and come up with a new meaning, and if I could do that, somebody else can, you know, and that's kind of what I want, you know, it's like any good sort of media that you can get insert yourself into.
Yeah.
Because everybody kind of wants to have a part, and I want that too, you know. So you get a little bit of me and a little bit of you too.
Yeah.
You know.
That's awesome, man. I have a great way of connecting to others through that art as well, you know, like finding understanding of yourself through that type of writing. It's awesome. I feel like that's something that brings me back into music all the time. It's just this desire to want to feel like I'm belong someplace. I feel like such an outsider sometimes you're watching, and like the little kid outside when it's raining and there's a party inside, and you're like, how do I get inside this party? And then everybody inside is like, how do I get out of this party?
I like to think we're all on just a big escalator.
Totally.
You know, and we're passing by each other, and with music, you know, you may get to kind of brush hands and make eye contact with somebody that you never would have otherwise.
That's really beautiful. Very, very well said. Okay, let's wrap up with a couple different things. First off, let's talk about some projects that you're working on right now. I know that you're working on a new 10 Tongues album right now, or the 10 Tongues album, the first 10 Tongues album. This is the first 10 Tongues album.
Technically the second, but the first one got lost.
No! Everybody keep an eye out, okay? It could be anywhere. It could be on the street. Keep both your eyes out.
It could be under my couch. I haven't.
Who knows?
Been under there in a while, man.
Let's keep both the eyes up. Tell me about this process and where you're recording and how this is going right now.
Garrett from Juniper Ridge, our good buddy.
So handsome.
He's recording us. He's dealing with us. You know.
Whatever. I know from him he's having a great time.
We're recording it at this pyramid in this dude's backyard. It's crazy. It's called Pyramix. It's like in I don't know, Glendale area, kind of northern, central, western Phoenix, Cactus Road area. Yeah. And it's literally just a pyramid that this dude built in his backyard. And you go down this ramp through this, you know, Disneyland ride-looking pathway. You're just in a recording room in a pyramid. It's crazy.
That is pretty weird. You showed me a video of you walking down it,
you saw
into it, and it's a trip. It looks, it does look like, it looks like Disney World.
Yeah,
crazy.
Totally.
That's exciting. How many
session we did? I had food poisoning so bad. I don't know how I got through those takes, man.
What were the songs that you recorded so when everybody listens to that album, they go, Max was sick during this?
Looming Tower.
Looming Tower.
F sharp suite.
F sharp suite.
And allergic to your lovin'.
Allergic to your
Lovin'.
lovin'. Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear this.
I was down bad, man. I was going to the bathroom in between every take.
Yes.
It was crazy.
Dude, that's awesome, man. Sarah, you should not be doing homework. This is better. Yes, doing this is more intended. And Echo does love some drama. We were talking about Morrissey a second ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so slow to read these comments, but that's exactly what's going on. I'm excited. So, how long is the album that you're about to come out with? 10 Tongues.
I think it's like gonna be
12 songs.
12 songs.
Dang.
And it'll be
Don't
pretty
know.
long. The songs are all long.
Uh-huh.
If I could have guessed, it'll be around an hour.
An hour
of
long?
music, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But we have so
Dang.
many songs. This is just kind of brushing on the surface.
If you have a few people that you could take from, I know this is super. So, if you could describe it to somebody and give them other bands to reference, how would you describe this band? I did not prep him at all for that. Sorry, guys.
My buddies Tyler and Isaac on bass and guitar, respectively. They're super into proggy, weirdo stuff. They're a couple of nerds, and it's kind of that distilled through some modern elder Gen Z kids, and
Freaking Zoomers.
it's got some punkishness to it, but it's still got the virtuosity of prog. Those guys are shredders for sure, but they're tasteful shredders. I would like to make that distinction. It's very.
They are so good. They both are just behemoths of musicians.
Yeah.
I love watching you
super
guys
crazy.
play.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any shows coming up?
We're playing at the Nash.
Oh, I
Playing
know
at
that.
the Nash on First Friday in March.
March 1st, I believe, at the Nash.
Along with Juniper Ridge and Creatures. All of our projects. Learning this creature stuff has been intimidating but very fun. Yeah.
It's been a blast. These guys, these musicians are insane. They're so talented, and it's been a lot of fun.
It's funny, Creatures, I feel like stylistically, for me as a drummer, it's like in between the Summernit stuff and the 10-Tongue stuff.
Really?
It's like a perfect in between.
That's awesome. I feel like I sometimes am like in the deep end of a pool, a wave
absolutely.
pool,
It
and
is.
it keeps, and there's a monsoon going, and I keep asking for
And then suddenly there's an earthquake.
something, and an earthquake, and a volcano is blasting. I'm like, please help me, someone. It's been fun.
And somebody
they
just
give me
throws
good,
you one of those little life hoops. Now they're like, good luck, man.
but it's also like a pool. It's like a kiddie pool floaty. I'm like, oh God, where are we going?
You really
It's been
your
fun.
own devices.
Yeah, it's all in jest. It's been super fun, and there's very catchy, and there's once you break it down, you're like, okay, I can understand where this is going. Instead of at first, when they showed me at first, I was like, this is amazing. I don't even know kind of how to break it down. I feel that way with 10 Tongues too, which I respect. It's like, this is fun to listen to, but also it can be intimidating is not the right word. But I'm going to say the word intimidating because I listen to a lot of music, and it is like, wow, this is crazy.
We have one of the last songs we're going to record for this album. I don't really have it down yet, and it's just probably the toughest song I've ever worked on that I've personally been a part of writing, and I'm so and I know Tyler's really nervous too. Isaac's always a little bit nervous, but
yeah.
I feel like he's less nervous than me and Tyler about that particular song.
I wish she would stop being S-tier guitar and come back down to the rest of us for a little bit.
He's, whenever you hang out with him, he's always floating at least 5 feet in the air. You gotta grab his ankle and kind of pull him
down, which is impressive because he's already so tall.
Yeah.
I have a theory that he's not actually that tall. He's just hovering. And then everything else is...
And he wears really long pants.
Long pants.
Kind of hides it,
It's like the kid over in the thing.
Yeah, if everybody knew he could float, the military would be here
That'd
in a
be
second.
insane.
Yeah,
It would be. They'd
seconds.
be done. They'd be done. They're like, get this guy
You
down.
gotta keep it on the down low.
Speaking of the kid in the, have you ever played this? Sorry, ADHD kicking in super hard. Have you ever played Mike Tyson's Punch Out? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh man, like once or twice, like the original version.
Yes.
Yeah, like once or twice.
There's a game on Steam right now. It's called Box. Was it Box Out? Punch Out. It's not Punch Out. It's something.
Is it like a?
It's
Punch
free
Out
on
light?
Steam. Yeah, but and it's got that same kind of Cuphead stylistic. It's not like Cuphead.
Like the Disney cartoons.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it looks like a '90s cartoon.
Ah.
And I like to play some games. I know you like to play some games too.
Okay.
And there's this one, and this is a terrible, terrible way to pitch this, but to you, but it's like box out or something like that. Anyways, it's like trending on Steam. Highly recommend it. It looks awesome. It's super fun, and they have like these different game modes in there too. There's like a campaign mode to it, and there's all these different bosses that look super awesome. Anyways, very weird caveat. Not a caveat, just a dead end circle that I decided to drive down right now. We're going to wrap up with these couple questions. Let's see. If you had to show somebody from your work, like a summary of like what is your best work, what would you point towards?
Summary?
Not a summary. Let's say what is your best work, and then what would you point somebody to say like this sums me up as an artist? If you had a few to point through, maybe not just one.
I mean, the Doughboy album is definitely kind of the personal statement.
Yes.
The Summer Knit album was kind of, I was very proud of that.
Very much.
In terms of something that was a group project.
Yes.
I mean, another thing that I kind of was more involved with writing was the Dwayne and the Rockhard Johnson's Red EP.
No way. Where can you find all of these?
The Dwayne stuff is all on all the services, and SummerNet, all the services except Bandcamp. I was trying to get him to put it on Bandcamp. And what was the other thing? Doughboy will soon be on streaming services.
No way.
Yeah, I'm planning on doing.
Do
that.
it. Drop it.
I was gonna do it when I put out the second Doughboy album. But,
Yes.
that's not gonna happen for a while. So
No,
I just do
it's
it.
kind of going the back.
I've been so busy, man. I don't have time to.
I'm gonna stop making you so busy. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
We've taken on this other gig at Murphy's Law, and it goes like every other week during the week, and it's just that one extra day, which has been super fun, but it is like that one extra day that you're out till midnight, and it's just like it's tiring.
And I work in the morning.
And you work in the morning. I do not. So I tip my cap to you. Let's see. Another one I was going to ask is, do you feel like you're able to separate yourself from your art? Do you feel like that has to? So this is like this.
I
is
feel
not,
like I can't connect myself to my art.
Okay.
I
That's
feel
interesting.
Incredibly separated from it.
Good news, guys. We can listen to R. Kelly again. Bring him back.
I'm a big believer in separating the art from the
I feel the
artist.
same way. That actually doesn't really bother. Well, actually, sometimes it does. R. Kelly, it's funny that I bring that up because that one is I have a hard time listening to this
It
stuff.
depends. Yeah, with R. Kelly.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, everybody's like,
R. Kelly is a bit egregious,
Yeah.
for sure. And also along those lines, for me personally, I'm not a fan of the music.
yeah.
Personally,
I don't know if I agree with that, but but I understand.
But I mean, I've listened to plenty of artists that have been canceled.
Yeah.
One of my favorite bands is Daughters. And
Oh, they're so good. Oh, they canceled?
yeah, they're super canceled.
Guys, okay, I'm gonna have to talk about this off the camera for a second. We're gonna have to talk about this. I want to bring it back. Where can people see you play?
I mean, man, first Friday in March at the Nash. That's probably going to be the big next one.
Come on out, guys.
I'm playing Ground Zero with Hotel Pink next Friday.
Let's actually I want to take some for a sec. I want to talk a little bit about Hotel Pink. Let's break that down because I really am a huge fan of you guys. So, break down how you got involved in Hotel Pink, and then we'll end the show with Hotel Pink.
Hotel Pink. I mean, Ray, my buddy now, super cool guy, incredibly talented player.
Amazing.
You know, my old band, Faded Lady, we kind of met him at one of our shows, and he liked us, and we talked for a bit after a show, and you know, they had the first Hotel Pink show was actually with our band Faded Lady, and they kind of got started after that and went in their direction, and Faded Lady eventually ended up imploding, and where's I going with that? And then Hotel Pink eventually ended up losing their drummer and bassist, so Ray put out Instagram story, and Tyler hit it up, and he was gonna cover bass, and Tyler asked me if I wanted to play drums.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's go. And Tyler ended up leaving after the first gig.
Oh no!
And I stayed along because I dug their music.
You
when I
guys
first
are
heard
so
it.
good, man.
Yeah,
You guys are so
I
good.
was a fan before I got to join, which I've never gotten to do something like that. So it's been
cool.
been fun to come at it from that angle. Like, I listened to the record a bunch, and kind of got familiar with that music already, and then when I got the chance to join, I was like, I already pretty much know it.
I know this stuff. It's fun when you get to be. I like to promote a bunch of different people. I feel like because I enjoy it, and sometimes you promote stuff and you're like, this one's okay, but you want to share it out to be a pal. It's fun when your buddies are in good bands and you're like, I'm happy to promote this. This stuff is really good, and I feel like everything that you touch is better. Sappy moment right now. I'm not gonna cry. And I just really respect you a lot. I think you're one of the most intelligent people I've met. I feel like every time I walk away from you, there's this sense of calmness that you have, and that people around you always look up to you and asking questions. I think of the time that we were looking for clothes in Bisbee, and everybody was like, Max, help me fix it. Find this thing. He's got great style and everything about it. And if you don't know Max personally, I feel bad for you, and I think that you should get to know him better. You can find his stuff on Bandcamp through Doughboy, and then you can also find his stuff with the Hotel Pink. Do you guys have anything out that you can pitch them towards?
Hotel Pink?
Yes.
Yeah. Their Hotel Pink's album is on all streaming services.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever good music is, Max can be found. Is there anything you want to say before we sign off?
Man,
Such a broad question. I really hate that.
I don't know. Listen to Saint Anger.
Yeah, that's all. I don't think we can top it. That's exactly that hot take. I'm going to stand by it no follow-up questions on that. Worst interviewer of all time. Thanks for being on the show, man. It's been super fun getting to know you better.
Thanks for having me.
I love it, and I'm looking forward to March 1st and playing with you and just all the future stuff that we have.
Is it March 1st or is it first Friday of March?
Is that what it is? I'm not 100% sure. Let's look at this real quick.
March 1st. Oh, first Friday is on the 1st.
Is it? It is. Oh,
Wow.
I was like, hold up a second.
Crazy.
I thought I was wrong. All right, anyways.
Crazy.
Everybody, love you so much. Thanks for watching the show. Thanks for listening to this show. Follow Max on Instagram. I will clue that all down there. I'm going to mess it up right now. Can you tag yourself real quick?
Oh my god, it's like XX_ Doughboy with a 0 and an I.
That's exactly
_XX.
exactly what I
If you
didn't
look
try
up
to do.
Max Mulmed on Instagram.
There we go, right there. If you follow me, then I'm going to be able to pitch you towards them. We work together all the time, and I'm happy, man, for it. Love you so much. I'm going to do the awkward thing where I walk up there. We're going to sign off. Tune in soon for other stuff. Why not? There we go. Love you. Goodbye. Yes, there we go. Now we have to walk all the way up. This is the...
I'm doing the robot wave.
Everybody just look at Max. Pay no attention. Pay no attention to the
Everything
man.
is fine.
Pay no...